Welcome back to Brian's Beat. Listen, I sometimes turn myself off, too, so I understand. That being said, not really. I'm always turned on by myself. The park refusal form, Park Testing 2015. Again, I will make sure somehow, some way, it gets up to Wbsm.com. But trust me, at this time, I don't know exactly how to do it, so I hope you're patient. But sometime by the end of the day, fair enough? Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was very interested in what you were reading. Now, my first question is, where did you acquire this form?
The form I acquired came through a group of people that have actually used it.
Mm.
All right. And to be honest with you, most folks don't realize that there is, I'm going to use the improper term, opt out. But you can refuse.
Right.
And so what the folks over at the Common Core Forum have done is they've taken the form that others have used, and then they just wrote it up and made it available.
Now, the next question is, when they're going to give the park test, is this form routinely sent home to the parents?
Absolutely not.
First breakage of the law. If it would behoove parents who are less than enthusiastic with park to go to their school administrators and request these forms.
I think you're correct. I am not sure that even the school administrators have this form. This is not a form that is released by the Department of Education.
I didn't think so. And for good reason, because you'd have perhaps as many as 40 to 50% of people opting out. That would not be good for the park curriculum.
No, I think you're absolutely correct. Thank you for your call.
Have a good day.
I do appreciate it. You too. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The great morning out there, huh? Sunshine.
Well, sunshine's, it's deceptive, though, because it's cold.
Oh, better than yesterday. So anyway, on this, I'm calling about the school situation.
Yes.
And, I know a lot about it. I'm not a teacher, nothing. But the way, from hearing about it on the radio and stuff, I'm thinking, how come they're not listening to the teachers and stuff, the ones that teach us, our kids, if you have kids?
When you say you wonder, who are you wondering aren't informing the teachers or listening to the teachers?
Oh, no, some of the teachers are informing. I guess they don't want to do it, because I heard a couple of stories that people were protesting a little bit about it. But I guess if they're going to make a law, that means they're not listening. And if they're not listening to the teachers that teaching the students, then that means they're not listening. It's like control. I mean, somebody is like in the control of it. And it's not the school department. Maybe the school department up high, but not the teachers and stuff. But anyway, it doesn't make sense, because if it's no good, it's no good. Shouldn't have a debate about it. The people that win is the one that's 60%. I mean, and them 60% probably it's just people that are business people. But anyway, that's why I say in the school, I mean, that's unbelievable that you have people controlling the schools that saying what's a law, you got to do this, do that. They should just teach until they'll go to college and they'll pick their own subjects.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate the call and the comments. We continue on Brian's Beat. It's the Educational Focus. Hello.
Hi, Brian. This is Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
I'm just calling to, I just wanted to let you know that 2 years ago, I told you this before, 2 years ago, I had a 6-week battle with my school leaders, my district's, my superintendent, my school principal, members of the DESE, telling me that this test, the park test, was mandatory and required. And only after hearing from the DESE attorney, Josh Varone, he told me that park testing was needed and wanted. Participation was needed and wanted. Last year,
what does that mean?
They need kids to take this test so they can get what results they want from it. That's what I feel.
Okay.
But it was in no way mandatory and required that I was being led and forced to believe. Last year, I tried to refuse for my daughter right off the bat, and I was again told by the principal I couldn't. The test is mandatory and participation is mandatory and required. And I said, we've been through this last year. I know it's not. case closed. This year, I know the commissioner, and you know you've done it on your show, that the commissioner is suggesting that maybe PARC, it wasn't the test we need to give our kids. Maybe it's a combination of PARC and MCAS, and he's going to call it the MCAS 2.0. My opposition to Common Core is not only what I do consider it has lower standards, data mining, a loss of local control as to what people can suggest and offer that their school districts do that may not be what other districts are doing. But I tried to convince parents last year that this is going to be a loss of parental rights, because here I am 2 years in a row facing my school leaders and contacts with officers up at the DESE telling me that this is participation is mandatory and required when it is not. This year, I passed out last year to parents the letter from the DESE commissioner, Mitchell Chester, which explained it was a letter he wrote to the superintendents of schools, and he wanted, it said, I ask you and your staff to help inform parents of the reasons why students' participation in these tests is essential. He doesn't tell them it's mandatory and required by law. He just wanted them to know it was essential. And the lists don't say it's mandatory and required by law. The problem is further down in the letter, it says, if the building principal has provided this information to the parent and student, and here's the clause, and the student still refuses to participate in the state assessments, he's apparently in this letter from last year putting the burden on the students to tell the teacher, I refuse to participate. We don't raise our children.
So in other words, you have to opt out.
Well, even if this, but to me, he's placing the burden of verbally refusing on the student in this, because it says, and the student still refuses to participate. But we don't raise our children to oppose, to bring opposition to adults. We tell our children that when an adult tells you to do something, you do it. And so I try to encourage parents to say, tell your child to say very politely, Mrs. Smith, I politely refuse the PARC test.
Gotcha. Hey, Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you.
But again, the refusal form. By the way, did you ever use a refusal form? Did you ever write something to the teacher, the principal, the superintendent?
My first year out, I did. As soon as I got the invitation for my daughter to participate, I contacted her 4 teachers, and I said my daughter will not be. Oh no, I actually, I contacted this principal, and I said I opted my daughter out of the test, and I got no reply at all. So not knowing whether he received my letter, I contacted her 4 teachers so that she wouldn't accidentally be tested. And immediately I got a response from the principal. That's when he was telling me that it was mandatory and required. I just want to make sure that you did put something in writing together. Oh, absolutely. I got all my emails, and yeah, I got everything.
Great. All right. Thank you so much for the call.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it.
Thanks.
508-996-0500. We continue on Brian's Beat. Hello.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
Listen, I watched a program, I believe it's HBO was running it quite frequently, called Heroin on Cape Cod.
All right, no, it's educational focus today. Thanks. Hello.
Hey, good morning, my friend.
Yes.
I was glad Michelle called in because I remember, like last October, she called in to explain part of that. Now, for you to present like you have, and I believe you probably already put on the website, that gives clarity to the parents who are looking at it and break it down. Because the teachers and the principals and even the superintendent were using words that you could borderline intimidation. In reality, it is a choice, and they do have the right to refuse it by those amendments. But here's like she said, then they added in the bottom to put it on the student. Incredible, absolutely incredible,
isn't it?
But I'm really glad, because I do remember that conversation you had with that same woman a few months ago, and I guess that was one of the few different things that So you did the legwork, and that's awesome. And
well, look, I have to be very honest with you. There are lots of people out here helping me with this legwork, and they're giving me the information. You do a little background check to make sure that it is authentic, and then you bring it forward. But what I don't see, and when I'm saying seeing now, I'm thinking about the Boston news channels. I'm not expecting Providence to cover this because Providence is Rhode Island, and this is our educational fight here in the Commonwealth. I really don't see channels 4, 5, 25, 56. I don't know if 56 has news. 7. I don't really see them covering this story outside of the Department of Education's purview.
Maybe the gap in that is to kind of have somebody through your media contacts reach out and get Nesson involved, so it becomes a regional view.
Nesson?
No, the cable news.
Oh, Neckin. Okay.
I mean Neckin. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking. Let's get. How are we going to make this into a baseball game? Whoop.
Yeah. There you go. But yeah, but absolutely. And I got to thank you for that. And that doesn't surprise me. Like you said, a lot of people are giving you suggestions and guiding you the right way.
This is going to be. Look, I don't know where you stand on the issue. You haven't expressed yourself today. However,
I don't like Common Core.
Okay, let me just.
In the last 4 years, look at how many states have dropped it when it was this whole big thing 5 years ago with Bush.
You're absolutely correct, but here's something to watch out for. It's what Mitchell Chester recommended, and then the State Board of Education passed last year. I believe it was the beginning of November, where they're now going to MCAS 2.0.